Good afternoon, esteemed public speakers. Before we get into the presentation, allow me to kickstart it by asking you all a question. How many of you participated in the National Youth Service Corps scheme, popularly known as NYSC? And to those of you who did, do you still believe it is relevant in modern day Nigeria, or do you hold reservations towards it based on your experience? I'd like for you to please see with your answer as we proceed with the presentation. Okay, greetings to you all once again. My name is Chikwendo Akunaya, a secondary school student, as well as a firm believer in the motion that NYSC is no longer needed in modern day Nigeria. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly concerns this girl with NYSC? But that's what research is for. Before I start, I want to make something clear. NYSC was founded on noble intentions. Nigeria was just recovering from a gruesome civil war and needed something to rebuild trust and unity amongst its people. As you can see here, these were the purposes and intentions for NYSC. All of these goals, promoting national unity, cultural integration, all of that, these goals were admirable in 1973. But the question posed before us today is not if it was relevant then, but if it remains relevant now. I believe the answer is no for a couple of reasons. Firstly, we have a comparison from 1973 and present, so I'm going to summarize it. Back then, communication and interactions amongst different states and places in Nigeria was extremely limited. So obviously we weren't united. There was no way for me to know what's going on in Kano if I'm in Abia State, even if I ask people around me. Cultural exchange could not happen as easily as it's happening right now. Whereas now we have technology at our fingertips. I can know what's going on in Lagos. I can talk to somebody in Kano. Cultural exchange happens without physical interaction. And I feel like national unity should not be dependent on a compulsory program. Okay. Next is a very, very major concern amongst many Nigerians concerning NYSC, which is security. Years upon years, parents worry about where their children will be posted to. Graduates are expected to serve their nation, but this same nation cannot guarantee their safety. We have cases of terrorism, kidnappings, banditries, communal violence. It's totally crazy. I feel like no program can remain relevant if the welfare and safety of its participants are constantly at risk. Okay, the next is unemployment and economic reality. One of the common arguments in favor of NYSC is that it provides work experience. However, the facts tell a different story. Thousands of graduates complete service each year and are still unable to secure employment or still struggle to secure employment. Many of them are assigned roles that are totally unrelated to their qualifications or their career goals. Others spend that whole year working in roles that contribute little to nothing to their personal and professional development. And a question is, if NYSC is preparing graduates for employment, why do so many remain unemployed after completing it? More disadvantages of NYSC include financial burden. I'm not an adult, but I follow my mom to the market. I know that the cost of living in Nigeria is getting crazy. Accommodation, feeding, transportation, basic necessities are becoming increasingly expensive. Although these coppers are given monthly allowance of, I believe it's 77K, but that would hardly sustain them if we're being quite honest. They have to leave their family members, but are still solely dependent on them for survival. Then we have limit personal freedom and choice. All graduates have their own personal ambitions. Some want to start up businesses, some want to pursue postgraduate studies, some want to stay at home and care for their families. but the nation expects them to the nation expects them to put a total pause to their life for 1 year to okay. Then the next is not cost effective on the government. Each and every year, a huge part of the national revenue is being imposed onto a scheme that isn't really effective anymore. Okay. So to conclude, I am not saying that NYSC should be abolished. That's not what I'm saying. There are many, many benefits because I didn't do NYSC, but I know that people have had personal experiences with coppers. There are coppers they've met that changed their lives. Even with technology, it has its bad sides. We are unable to socialize, and NYSC gives us that opportunity to socialize with people, to step out of our comfort zones. Okay, so I do not believe it needs to be abolished. I just think that a reform is in due time very, very needed to meet with modern circumstances of Nigeria. Thank you.